Welcome everyone. On today's video, we're going to take a look at Brookfield Infrastructure Corporation, ticker symbol BIPC here on the TSX. Now, this is one of two utility stocks that I currently own in my portfolio. I really am favorable on this company's future. I think it's really exciting for a utility, that is. It's not a high-tech growth stock, but it's really cool in my opinion. The reason I want to talk about it today is that I believe that it's currently a ridiculously good value, just because it's dropped a lot on the one-year chart. As you can see here, minus 27%. This doesn't indicate that it's a good value on its own, but when we take a look at the quarterly reports, we can see that it is, in fact, on sale, not for the best reasons. It's just more of a macro environment issue right now due to the high interest rates and the risk-free rate that we can get on alternative safe investments. The current yield is 4.97% right now, which is fairly respectable. Now, the only thing I would mention is that this dividend is paid in US dollars, so there's a conversion that happens. Brookfield does it itself. Whatever the exchange rate is on that day, they give you around that, but your payouts won't be exactly the same quarter to quarter because of currency fluctuations. It is something to keep in mind. But in my opinion, that's actually quite a big positive thing, because it's good to have some income coming in US dollars because it is the strongest currency, world reserve currency and all that. So it does diversify portfolios here for us Canadians who have too much of a home bias, having too many Canadian companies in their portfolio. Now, I mentioned before that this is in fact a utility company, but it is something different at the same time. It's more of a utility ETF here. I just have the map of operations up from their investor presentation, and it shows you that this utility company is kind of broken down into four major segments, and that is data, midstream, utilities, and transportation, which makes it really interesting. Now, midstreams are pipelines. Okay, that's what they're referring to in this. The data, what they're referring to is data centers, kind of like what Allied Property has. The utilities is hydro poles, and the transportation is a railroad. Okay, so there's other variations, but those are the main those are the breadwinners in each category. For example, for transportation, they also have some highways in Brazil. They buy and sell different assets in India. You have to keep up with what they're doing. They actually move assets a lot fairly quickly. And as of lately, they actually bought a shipping company. There's a big deal that went down earlier this year where Brookfield Infrastructure bought a shipping company. It was kind of a big deal because it really adds diversification to the stock. I thought it was at fair value at the time, so it was accretive to the FFO. It's really good for us as shareholders. Another reason to own the stock is the diversification that you get automatically. As you can see here on the map, they have big operations in South America, Asian Pacific, Europe, and North America. So it is globally diversified, which is important yet again for us Canadian investors who have way too much money in our home country. Yes, this is a Canadian company per se, but they have their assets all over the world. So this is the type of diversification that I want in my portfolio. This is why I'm bringing it up to everybody else out there. It's a good way to get your dollars working in other countries and get some of those US greenbacks coming back at you in the form of dividends. Like I mentioned earlier, the stock has been getting hammered year to date, but we need to look at what's important, and what's important is right in front of us here. We have the FFO per unit and the distribution per unit. Okay, so these are very important for us dividend growth investors. This is how we get paid. And if we look from 2012 up until 2022, when this presentation was made, the CAGR on the FFO per unit is 11%. So that's a double-digit CAGR. Really well done, and it's actually phenomenal if you look at it in terms of just being a utility company. Yes, the company's taken out more debt in this time. Yes, the company has diluted shares in this time, but this is the result we'd like to see. It's worth it. They're doing really good things, especially for a utility company. Now, the distribution per unit CAGR is 9%. Okay, so we're almost at that double-digit mark. This is something that I'm happy with in my portfolio, even with the short-term headwinds. If you take a look at Q2 2023, FFO per unit actually went up. Okay, so year-to-date FFO per unit is up, and the share price is way down. Okay, so what does that tell you? Personally, it tells me that it's attractive right now. So I bought a lot in the $50 range. I didn't time it correctly. I'm okay with that. I'm going to buy a little bit more I think it's a good opportunity. So you guys let me know what you think of BIPC, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.